To the whole elect of Israel, you Hebrew Israelites, so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native American, West Indian, Haitians, and the foreign Israelites across the four corners of the earth that look like the other nations. We want to give all praise to Barak, Atha, Yahawah, Barak, Atha, Yahawashi, Barak, Atha, Yahawah, Barak, Atha, Yahawashi. Got to give all praises to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Qadash. I want to give double honors to the elders and apostles of great millstone who led me to this truth and have been ordained by the Lord to teach the flock how to live, repent, pray, and fast for the Lord's righteousness and mercy, judgment, forgiveness, and salvation to all those who are part of the hopeful elect. Lord willing, we be part of that number. Lord willing, this be edifying to those who fear in the name of the Lord and the strive to show forth the Lord's righteousness every day to the best of their abilities. If judgment always comes to light, Zephaniah chapter 3, verse 5, it is not slack, 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 9. This is a sincere salutation for all the Akim that have been pushing this truth across the four corners of the earth to the best of their abilities, and also the Aquath, the women who have been in humbleness and meekness and humility, coming back to the truth of Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, to help the men of the Lord strive to exalt the name of Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi. So I tried to do this video earlier. I had a lot of issues with my internet connection. It seems like I've got it working now. So I'm going to go ahead and do this video. So Lord willing, this be edifying to the flock. So we got witchcraft, shutdowns, tornadoes in Cali, war with China will reach U.S. soils, what the experts say, but we know who the true experts are. The elders and apostles of Great Millstone, those are the true experts in truth and prophecy, you know, and they're trying to prophesy that the war with China will reach U.S. soil or whatever they got to say, and we're going to see what they got to say about it. But ultimately, Great Millstone has been talking about this for years. You know, and of course, it started off as One West, and everybody was part of One West, and then those One West members who branched off from those other One West members became GMS. You know, and they're the ones who are teaching for truth's sake, and the other camps that have been branched out are trying to teach other doctrines. They're trying to, you know, make money off the truth and things like that. So that's why we don't listen to those people. So we're going to go ahead and start right here. And this guy, I remember there was a camp that one of the elders pulled up, and they were talking about how Yahawashi did sorcery, which he did not. He was going around really healing people and giving people sound doctrine and telling people things to come. He was prophesying and raising the dead and doing stuff like this. But you know, this is what sorcery is. Okay, these kind of people. See this Edomite right here? He's basically a sorcerer. You know, he's a magician official is what they try to call him, but they're sorcerers. And there was these kind of people, this kind of spirit back in the day when Moses came before Pharaoh in old Egypt, when we were slaves under the Canaanites, which is the Africans. Okay, we came under them, the so-called Africans. They were ruling over us, and Moses told them to let us go. And when he tried to change the staff into a serpent, the Pharaoh's magicians changed their staff into a serpent too. So some of those things they could do with sorcery, but in all ultimately it was Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi doing it to harden Pharaoh's heart to keep him going. Same way with now, how they're healing paraplegics with their devices and doing all this witchcraft and stuff. So they think that they have the power of the Lord, but they don't. The Lord's deceiving them. But when you watch this guy, look at some of the stuff that he does. See, now somebody simple, they're gonna look at that and, you know, see, yeah, over here, you know, he's doing a whole bunch of witchcraft, man. This is witchcraft right here. Okay, this is all wonders that they do inside of the beast. This is witchcraft, man. Oh, that's witchcraft. That's true witchcraft. He's not going around healing people or teaching prophecy or nothing. He's just doing witchcraft, man. All that's witchcraft, man. And basically, this is why you want to have the doctrine of Bahasham and Yahawashi, because it's going to come to a time where they're going to try to deceive Israel, but it says that no enchantments shall fall, won't be able to win over Jacob. Okay, won't be able to win over Israel, which is, the elect. But we're gonna pull up a couple of scriptures about it. This is 2 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 11. It says, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. So we're not ignorant of all the witchcraft and things that he does. And then another one is this is Ephesians chapter 6, verse 11. And it reads, put on the whole armor of Yahawah, which is your faith and, the doctrine, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. When you look up wiles, it means like trickery, but we'll look it up real quick. We'll go into it. But it says, put on the whole armor of Yahawah, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. The wiles.
Strong's G 3180. Methodiah.
See, cunning arts, deceit, craft, trickery. That's what that man was doing. He was doing a lot of trickery, trying to make it look like, appear like he was some magician, but it's all witchcraft. And that's how it's going to come in the times to be. I was just listening to one of the elders' videos, and they were talking about there are some people on this comment board talking about they got this machine or something that can, they use frequency to get into your head and stuff, but you can't, and none of that stuff gonna work on Jacob. None of that stuff will work. It says no weapon shall prosper. And another one, they might think it's gonna work, but it's never gonna work. See, whatever it is, the elect will never veer away from this truth. The elect will stay in this truth, Lord willing, we part of that number. Numbers 23:23 says, surely there is no enchantment against Jacob, neither is there any divination against Israel. And Jacob is Israel. According to this time, shall be of Jacob and Israel. What have Yahawah wrought? So that's just to show that there's not going to be there's nothing going to be able to deceive the very elect, you know, and there will be many signs and wonders. That's why it says, don't be dismayed at the sign of heaven. But we know what the signs of heaven are, you know, not these that these people are doing. Now we're going to go to Vietnam may resist diplomatic upgrade with Washington as U.S. and China tensions simmer. See, people are starting to double guess whether they should stay with America Babylon the Great. They're like, nah, we're not okay with what's going on. No. So it says a push by the United States to upgrade ties with Vietnam this year is facing resistance in Hanoi over what experts say are concerns that China would see the move as a hostile at a time of tension between superpowers Beijing and Washington. So people are being very careful with what side they choose, basically, and ultimately, everybody's going to turn on America Babylon the Great. You know, according to Ezekiel chapter 38, verse 4-8, talks about how everybody's going to join Russia. Well, it's going to be some time before that happens. We don't know what time it's going to happen, but it's been happening slowly but surely. So here's another one talking about Australia won't promise to side with U.S. and Taiwan conflict. So see, that's another group of people who are saying we not sure if we gonna rock with y'all or not. See, and that's how it's coming. Say we ain't got no assurances. We want to see what happens because China is not playing. You know, China is really advancing their technology. So is South Korea, all these other nations. You know, so it's going to lead to all them going to the Valley of Jehoshaphat or Yahawashi, which is Yahawah has judged. You know, that's where he's going to judge them. Everybody's going to go down there to the Middle East. Over here, it's going to be a lot of people that get drafted and they go into World War III. But if you've been serving Yahawashi to the best of your abilities and you've been serving them sincerely, shouldn't have to worry about it. But, you know, Lord willing, we part of that number, the ones that are sincere and are staying with the truth, you know. But this is this world war coming surely, which is Revelation chapter 11, verse 14. So now we're going to go over here. The world's largest tool maker to close 2 U.S. manufacturing facilities. Closings of South Carolina and Texas facility expected to shed 357 jobs. So this is it says a loss of 357 jobs in Texas and in South Carolina. 180-year-old manufacturer behind the DeWalt, Craftsman, and Troy-built brands, with more than 40 manufacturing facilities and nearly 19,000 employees, brought to the United States, plan to optimize its manufacturing distribution network as a part of business transformation strategy launched last year, expected to save $2 billion. So, you know, there's some more job cuts, you know, and we'll put in the scripture to that one, what it's going to lead to. Because these people, they got too much stuff going on. So now they're having to start cutting stuff because of these bank failures. So now you do Isaiah 19:15. Neither shall there be any work for Egypt, which the head or tail, branch or rush may do. That's what's going to lead to these job closures. So now we're going to deal with this. Pacific face-off. China drives away U.S. warship. So watch a little bit of this.
While the world is caught up with Ukraine, another battlefield is being prepared. Tensions are rising in the Pacific. China has driven away an American destroyer. Beijing says it illegally entered the South China Sea. The US is setting up new military bases in the Philippines, very close to Taiwan. China is lapping up port projects in Pacific Islands. Both sides are marking their territory and setting up military facilities. The US and China are preparing for war, a war over Taiwan. It won't happen tomorrow, but the US says it will happen. And the preparation is on war footing. Today, the navies of the US and China came face to face. An American destroyer entered the waters around the Paracel Islands. This is in the South China Sea. The Paracel Islands is an archipelago. It is a group of about 130 small coral islands and reefs. What was the US warship doing there? The US Navy said it was on a routine operation. But China contests this claim. It says the US destroyer entered the waters illegally and that China has driven away the American warship. The Americans, of course, have not agreed to this claim. They say there was nothing illegal about their activities in this region. But the South China Sea, we know, remains a major flashpoint, and the Americans are expanding their access here. They've struck a deal with the Philippines. This is to expand their military presence in North Philippines. Remember, the US already has bases in this country. Now they'll get more access. Reports say 3 military sites are being considered. 2 are in northern Philippines, and these are very close to Taiwan. The 3rd site is closer to the South China Sea. So the gains for the US are obvious. It will increase its military presence in this region. It can mobilize in larger numbers in the event of a war. As for the Chinese, their response to the deal is on expected lines.
China has always believed that defense and security cooperation between countries should be conducive to regional peace and stability and should not target or harm the interests of third parties. The US side has been strengthening its military deployment in the region out of its own selfish interests and with a zero-sum mindset.
Beijing is responding not just with words. The PLA has stepped up activities around Taiwan. Almost every day it sends warships and warplanes. And they don't do very much. They just come close to the island of Taiwan. They register their presence, stick around just long enough for Taiwan to take notice, and then they leave. These are intimidation tactics. Detected 10 Chinese military aircraft and 2 naval vessels. So far this month, Beijing has sent at least 292 military aircraft and 76 naval vessels. And how does Taiwan respond to this? With military drills of its own. The latest ones happened in North Taiwan. Military tanks were spotted rolling down the streets there. They were conducting what are called anti-landing exercises, specifically designed to deter a potential Chinese invasion. But why is the situation escalating now? Because the Taiwanese president is traveling to the US.
The trip will kick off on March 29th with a transit through New York on the same day. After this, she will continue her journey to Guatemala and Belize to conduct exchanges with the 2 allied nations. On the trip back, there will be a stopover in Los Angeles.
She will make.
So that's a little bit what's going on. You know, they getting ready for that war. And there's going to be many wars that happen, but World War III is going to be the big one that, you know, that's going to start everything off. And I went out last night to try to do camp, and it was still windy, and I went and redid it, but I just went on ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and try to do it another day and try to put in 2 camps together. It's actually raining real bad out where I'm at. It's thunderstorming. Lord willing, I can find a place where I can go and you know, catch up on a little bit on camp and you know, get that all handled. But we're just gonna keep moving. Lord willing, you know, I can get all that situated. But I do got some videos that I did do some went out and did that video game, but I still watching it. It was still real windy that night. You know, it's been real windy out here lately in Oklahoma. So Matthew chapter 24, verse 6. It says, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. And that's these wars coming to pass. You know, that the Lord said that would happen. And this is one of these wars. They're not saying that it's going to start, but they're both circling Taiwan right now and getting ready and doing drills. And this is going to be a major battle. Same way with over there in Ukraine. You know, and in the end of it, all these nations are going to go. And they're going to go defend Russia when it comes down to it. So I'm going to move right here. Tesla's CEO shocks the entire car industry and says we're moving to Mexico. So watch a little bit of this. Filter and subscriptions.
Rev up your engines! Well, Elon Musk says Tesla is vowing to half their production costs, and that Elon's going to have an affordable car out there, right? Well, if he does have an affordable car, who knows, right? I'm not holding my breath on quality because they just said they're making a big factory, one of their giant factories in Mexico. Okay, they're going to keep the cost in half, right? Build in Mexico. Sure, the labor's a lot less than half in Mexico. Not the greatest quality in the world, but hey, it's cheaper that way, right? Considering that one time he did have that Tesla tequila made, and they sold a bunch of them at outrageous prices. Well, maybe he thought, hey, they make tequila. Let's make my cars down here, too. And the interesting thing is, after he talked about this stuff, the shares fell 5% in bet.
Well, you know, basically what I'm seeing out of this, you know, you got this Edomite bugging out about it. Well, what I'm seeing is, you know, what I'm seeing that's happening is they're running from America, Babylon the Great, because they know this place is destined to be destroyed. You know, they know it's going to be destroyed. So ultimately, it's him running. This is what they're going to try to do whenever it happens, whenever the Lord comes with the destruction. Though they dig into hell, which they go in their bunkers, then shall my hand take them. It's Amos chapter 9, verse 2. Though they climb up to heaven, thence I will bring them down. Go in their little space stations. Verse 3. And though they hide themselves in the Taka Carmel, which is like the mountains, I will search and take them out thence. And though they be hid from my sight in the bottom of the sea, with their underwater resorts and all that, thence I will command the serpent, and he shall bite them, which is a Leviathan, which is basically like, you know, like almost like a Godzilla or like the Kraken. That's what they changed those names into. That's where they got that from. The Leviathan is a huge beast. The Lord's it's been down there waiting for the Lord's commandment. And though they go into captivity before their enemies, thence I will command the sword, and it shall slay them, and I will set my eyes upon them for evil and not for good. The Lord's going to destroy them, you know, for everything they've done to Israel. So it don't matter what they do. They can try to run and go. But you see, you got all these big tech people that are leaving America, Babylon the Great, because it's starting to become no profit here. So Fed rate hikes will trigger a downturn of greater speed and magnitude than the Great Recession. And this is what they're trying to say. The economists are saying. Trying to play it.
With over 15,000.
Before I play this real fast, let me make sure my should have did this at the beginning. Yep, it's fine. Okay, just making sure that my voice is being heard. Okay.
In open this morning, take a look. Dow Industrials up a fraction, Nasdaq down a fraction, S&P down 2 points. As we look ahead to the Federal Reserve's rate decision this afternoon, the market so far fully pricing in a quarter-point rate hike, with a 15% chance of no rate hikes at all. We'll hear from Fed Chair Jay Powell today at 2:30 p.m. Eastern following the decision. We'll see if it's a market mover. Or earlier in the show, I asked SMBC Chief Economist Joe Lavonia if he expects the Fed to raise rates. Here's what he said.
No move. Whoa. NQT. Highlight the fact that if things change or evolve the way we expect, we could go back to rate hikes in May, because don't forget they've got the forecast they can give us. The worst thing they could do is tighten rates, because the Fed helped cause the problem we have.
Joining me right now is Macro Mavens President Stephanie Pomboy and former Reagan Economic Advisor Art Laffer. Great to see you guys this morning. Thank you so much for being here. Stephanie, what are you expecting from the Fed? And also, I mentioned this earlier, when the Fed opened that discount window and we saw all the new borrowing, isn't that a form of easing already, given the fact that they're needing to expand the balance sheet now? They're supposed to be doing the unwind, right?
Right. No, absolutely. So I guess my expectation for today is that they will ratify market expectations because it's already built into the market. So this idea that tightening 25 basis points is going to suddenly cause a lot of other banks to be derailed strikes me as incorrect. And they also don't want to create the sense of panic. You know, if they stop right now, people might say, gee, what does the Fed see behind the curtain that, we're not all aware of? So I do expect we'll get 25. However, I think that we're going to be looking at much more rapid rate cuts than the market is presently expected. They've built in about 50 basis points of cuts between now and year end. And
See, and that's what's going on. It's going to be, they're trying to make it seem like, everything's okay. But in the end, it's going to end up bad, and they're going to end up issuing that C-hit. That's why it says, they'll make their tongue fall upon themselves. They're letting you know stuff is about to get bad. Now, this is something showing that, people are waxing worse and worse, and not let alone that. It's just, man, this place is just getting bad. I'm gonna watch a little bit of this. I guess the FBI was trying to get this guy, and he all the way up there talking about he gonna jump. There he is right there. I think I see him. He right there. Yep. There he is right there. And it says New York City con men who allegedly once posted.
What about Barak?
Oh man. Who allegedly once posted his scion of wealthy Jamaican family threatened to jump off a 20th floor window of Manhattan skyscraper Wednesday as the FBI attempted to serve a search warrant. Authorities say launched the shady scheme back in 2015. Broke the window outside his apartment within a 72-story city-inspired condominium building. Attempted to climb out around 8:40 a.m. The sources said. And, this is a lot of these people who are claiming to be rich, and a lot of these people are scammers and liars, man. The Lord's catching up with them. Finally coming and bring them down. It says the rich man is wise in his own conceit, Proverbs 28:11. But the poor that have understanding searcheth him out. You know, and we can tell that these men ain't no good. You know, they're not no good. You know, not no good at all. You know, going around flashing their money, talking about they know how to do stuff, but they're thieves. Now, right here, this is something to kind of show that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you have Social Security or 401k or anything. These people, this was a retirement community center, right? Well, this is what happened to them. It says Tulsa Retirement Community residents devastated after order to vacate. And that can happen to anybody who's tried to retire, you know?
After facing back surgery a while ago, I discovered the path.
That's how Esau Edom is. Act like he know what he doing. Like he made them beds and he did all that. He learned all that from Jake, man.
Retirement community in Tulsa say they're in shock after they were all told they had 30 days to pack up everything they own and find a new place to live.
News on 6's Caitlin Deggs explains that many of them have no idea what they're going to do next.
Some residents tell me they've been worried for months something like this would happen. Now that it has, they're scrambling to find a new place to live in a short amount of time. Tracy Wilbanks has been living at the Broadmoor since December. She was devastated to find out she would have to pack up and leave.
I had just gotten myself situated. I love the place. We all do. We all love the place. We built a family here.
She says she doesn't want to lose the family she created at the Broadmoor.
A lot of us don't have family. I don't have family. So knowing that we're going to be all split up from each other is heartbreaking. It's frustrating. It's maddening.
Broadmoor sent a note to all the residents saying, "We understand that this news may come as a shock and may cause some disruption in your daily lives. Please know that we are committed to providing you with support and assistance during this difficult time."
So they supplying you with support and assistance, and they saying you got 30 days to get the hell out. That's how they going. That's how Esau Edom is. You get the hell out. I give you 30 days. They're not supporting these people, man. Esau Edom not supporting nobody. Okay, he only cares about his table. He only cares about his table. He's a niggard at his table. He doesn't care if you're struggling. He said, "Get the fuck out. We don't need you." So 12 minutes ago, this is a flooding in Oman. 10,000 people had to be evacuated. Man.
Heavy to moderate rain hit Amman on
Taking
Tuesday
cars.
afternoon, according to the Yahawah Meteorology Department. While residents of Muscat and surrounding areas witnessed moderate rainfall, heavy rains fell in North Al-Bati, Musanda, Rami, and Hopar on Tuesday.
They can't barely stand up in it, man.
Some roads are flooded with rainwater, so far residents say. Last Sunday, the Department of Meteorology predicted heavy rain in northern Oman, which will begin today and continue until the end of the week. On Wednesday, heavy rains will be concentrated in the governorates of So and North Al-Sharqiyya, according to the Civil Aviation Authority.
Man,
The Civil Aviation Authority
it's probably cold out there too,
to
man.
take precautions during thunderstorms, not to cross worry, avoid low places, and not to go to sea during the warning period.
That's the same thing that happened here too, in California. But we're gonna pull up another scripture real fast. Ezekiel 14:21, for thus saith the Lord Bahasham Yahawashi, how much more when I send my four sword judgments upon Jerusalem, the sword and the famine and the noisome beast and the pestilence to cut it off from it, man and beast. Well, this is what's been going on all throughout the earth. A lot of death and destruction.
In California, a rare tornado touched down near Los Angeles as the latest storm system brought heavy rains and devastating winds, leaving 5 dead across the state. Miguel Almaguer was in the storm's aftermath. Miguel, what are you seeing?
Well, Lester, when you see the damage here, it's incredible that everyone survived. I want to show you what this business looks like inside. This building's been red tagged. We can't go any further than this. And this is what so many businesses across this area look like tonight.
Oh, the likely tornado touched down this afternoon just outside downtown Los Angeles. The rare jaw-dropping sight here, leaving at least 1 injured and buildings damaged.
I was in the classroom and we just heard like a lot of wind, I guess.
It's now the second tornado to hit the region in 24 hours. It's all connected to the 12th atmospheric river of the season that unleashed devastating winds and another torrent of water across California. Triggering mayhem and misery, the storm blew ashore as a rare bomb cyclone in the Bay Area, looking and feeling like a violent hurricane. 75-mile-an-hour winds toppled a big rig.
I've been in this same spot for at least a half hour, 45 minutes.
With multiple people killed by falling trees, chaos unfolded on the roads.
I'm tired of it. I'm not a big fan of the rain.
Drivers near Santa Cruz navigating through a gauntlet of down trees.
Jake, the Lord don't give a fuck if you care if the rain coming.
Trees and power lines, while at least 244,000 lost power. As pounding surf canceled ferry service, snow buried homes in the mountains.
California getting jacked up.
We've seen gusts over 60 miles an hour. With sheets of water drenching Los Angeles, the city broke a rainfall record. Now, after swiftwater rescues in Arizona, this unforgiving storm delivering another rare sight in what feels like an endless season of wind and rain. Miguel Almaguer, NBC News, Los Angeles.
Lord not playing. Tearing up California constantly. You're gonna keep sending them. He got these angels jacking this shit up. You got Esau Edom tearing the world up. So now we're gonna deal with this. It says warrant coming to mainland United States. Let's watch this.
Good afternoon, preppers. Welcome to Goshen Prepping. Glad you're here. Listen, as war seems to be looming between China and Taiwan and the U.S. getting involved in it, and we are getting involved in it, we kind of have like a step back thought that, well, here in the United States, if you're actually here on American soil, it's not going to really affect us. But I need to show you some things that are coming that simply says that's not true. First article comes from the World Socialist website. U.S. send troops to Taiwan after general threatens war with China by 2025. And this obviously is very biased on China's side, but you know what? You always want to look at from all aspects of news. And it says right here, the United States will quadruple the number of U.S. forces stationed on Taiwan, which of course China claims is its own territory, in an effort to provoke war with Beijing. I need to make it very clear that I don't believe that's what's happening. I don't think we're trying to provoke war with China. I know a lot of people are. They have a lot of good valid points. But I will say the whole thing remains on Taiwan is entitled to its own sovereignty. The United States is actively turning Taiwan into a military base just dozens of miles off the coast of mainland China. Sorry, I had to giggle a little bit because they're only sending about 200 servicemen over there now. It's still 200 servicemen. And obviously it's a little provoking, but China tends to like blow things up, literally and metaphorically speaking, when this happens. But there's more to it than this. Look at this article. This Air Force general is rallying his troops for a war with China. Now, this makes you think. A provocative new memo from a four-star Air Force general is sounding an alarm on China and raising eyebrows. General Mike Minahan, head of Air Mobility Command, oversees U.S. Air Force's cargo and tanker fleet, urged his airmen to be unrepentantly lethal in preparation for potential war with China. And he says it may be 2 years away. I hope I'm wrong, he wrote, but my gut tells me we will fight in 2025. And he predicted that the Chinese president, Xi Jinping, now in his third term with the newly set war council, will take advantage of the 2024 presidential elections in Taiwan and the U.S. to cause trouble. And I'll be blatantly clear. I'm not discrediting that. There's actually a lot of truth to that. When we talk about as far as like presidential elections in the United States, we suddenly see huge catastrophes taking place, and suddenly the need to go to a war rally because I want to be your president and I'd be the one to do that for you. I definitely see that coming. But there's all kinds of things taking place. For example, here's an article that talks about China is slamming reported plan for US B-52 nuclear bombers to be in Australia. We're increasing our base activity in the Western Pacific, not to mention the Philippines and Okinawa. There's definitely a lot of standing ground taking place in which we're preparing for this ultimate inevitable invasion, which I think a lot of people say is going to come. But it comes down to this. Again, it's not simply even just taking sides. Do we stand with Taiwan? Do we stand against Taiwan? Do we let them be? Are we against China? All that is, in my opinion, irrelevant. What is relevant specifically to this channel is preparedness. We are Goshen prepping. It's all about what you and I can do, because we talk about, and we've mentioned many times, that when it comes to war, especially like World War.
And you know how we prep with Yahawashi and Yahawashi, but this is how the Edomites think. They think that all their, whatever they do, the prep is going to save their ass. It's not going to save them.
There's a lot of civilians that are killed, tens of millions who are killed because of famine, disease, etc. Because understand, if this does happen, which it seems to be heading that direction, we're going to be sending so many things over there, including our sons and daughters, because I definitely see a draft reinitiating on this, especially a women draft too. I see it coming. I personally think that.
See, it's already been initiated. The Lord already said. It says it right here. Second Ezra chapter 16, verse 24. There shall be no man left to till the earth and to sow it. The trees shall give fruit, and who shall gather them? Because most people going to get shipped off. If the grape ripens, and who shall tread them? Or the grapes shall ripen, and who shall tread them? For all places shall be desolate of men, because they're going to get shipped off to World War III. So that one man shall desire to see another, and they hear his voice. There's going to be damn near nobody out here. For of the city there shall be 10 left, and 2 of the field, which shall hide themselves in the thick groves, in the clefts of the rocks. As in an orchard of olives, upon every tree there is left 3 or 4 olives. Or as when a vineyard is gathered, there are left some clusters of them that diligently seek through the vineyard, trying to find something to eat. Even so, in those days, there shall be 3 or 4 left by them that search their houses with the sword. See, it's going to be bad. And there's going to be, little militias and people out here searching and kill and take whatever they can take. It's going to be bad out here. The only people that are going to be protected and have food and have safety is the elect. Lord willing, we part of that number. Everybody else is not going to make it through, without the Lord's guidance.
That's what's going to happen. And even beyond that, it absolutely could hit us and affect us here on American soil. And it all comes down to this last article you must see. China will target U.S. homeland in war over Taiwan, Army leaders predict. China will attack American homeland if a major war erupts over Taiwan or elsewhere in the Indo-Pacific, U.S. Army's top civilian expects. If we got to a major war with China, the U.S. homeland would be at risk, as well as both kinetic and non-kinetic attacks.
See? And then, hold on.
Cyber attacks on the power grid or on pipelines. They are going to go after the will of the United States public. They're going to try to erode support for a conflict.
And see, when you come over here and you read but Jacob's trouble has to happen first, before World War III, which is he saw Edom coming in like a flood, and then the Lord's going to lift up a standard against him. You know, which is them intercontinental ballistic missiles and that heavy suppressive laser beam fire from the chariots, which they call so-called UFOs. That's got to all happen first. You know, and then World War III will be kicking off simultaneously at that time. So Ezekiel chapter 28, verse 7, behold, therefore I will bring strangers upon thee, the terrible of the nations. See, they're going to come over here and jack shit up, and they shall draw their swords against the beauty of thy wisdom, and they shall defile thy brightness. See, it's going to be World War III right in here. Okay? Right after Jacob's trouble. It's going to all happen. And the only ones that's going to be saved out of it, scarcely, is the elect. And we're praying that the Lord gives us spiritual powers at that time, and that Michael the Archangel, Daniel chapter 12, verse 1, comes and protects us in that time and defends us. You know, but it says that he will. So we have faith that he will. You know, because the Lord's sending, Yahawashi sending his angels to come protect us from this time. There's going to be some supernatural stuff going on at that time. It's going to be basically the spirit world on the ground. You know, and that's why you want to build your faith right now. So when the Lord gets here, he sees that you really have faith and he protects you. You know, but you got to have faith and works. But we know our works don't save us. But if you really love the Lord, we already read that. But if you really love the Lord, you'll do what he wants you to do. You know, we doing this, you know, that on account of we might get saved, but we have faith that he will save us. So this is not what was popped up. What is going on? There's something else that I had over here. There was something else that I had pulled up over here. I'm not sure why it's not pulling up. I'm not sure. So move on to the next one. Burning bins block road as French pension protests continue. They're still protesting out there. It says, yeah, let's see if it'll let me play the video. They over there burning all types of stuff and left it in the street. Let me restart it.
And so it begins. You can break his heart, and I can watch the breakage. All you have.
Okay. Look at that. Cut off the whole highway. Okay, so got a couple more there. Some more, another place shutting down in Oregon. Cracker Barrels, all of them are shutting down.
Use the chainsaw chain grinding fixture to make your chainsaw as sharp as new.
Cracker Barrels closed 3 or more locations in Oregon, leaving just 1 left in the state. The 3 Cracker Barrel stores announced immediate closure on Monday. And you see how that's how it's going to be. It's going to be suddenly. It says news of the disclosure comes to some Cracker Barrel menu items have been discontinued, some which are the strawberries and blah, 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 blah. The company cited the pandemic as a reason for the closure. Security issues have also impacted stores staying open. You know, this is ultimately the system crashing. You know, it'll be like this. Is what it's going to come down to. 2nd Esdras chapter 6 verse 22. And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown, and the full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. That's what's going to happen. It's going to suddenly be found empty as we go along. So this is Xi and Putin. And see, they were just talking about it, but now they pledged to shape a new world order as the Chinese leader leaves Russia with no peace in sight for Ukraine. There's not going to be no peace. And they was talking about they wanted to have peace last time. There ain't going to be no peace. Turn this down. See, there's no sign of his efforts to play a role as a peacemaker. They're not. There's not going to be no peace. He said that China had not fanned the flames of the conflict, had simply tried to promote peace talks. See, they don't want peace. They want to have a new world order. They got to take over some shit. Okay. So this is how these other nations are. Ultimately, Esau Edom. This is Psalms chapter 55, verse 21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than than oil, yet were they drawn swords. Here's another one. I'm putting in the spirit on me. I know this is. It's not this. It's yeah, this one. Okay. So this is how you know they're not about peace as well. Ecclesiastes 7:15, all things I have seen in my days, in the days of my vanity. There is a just man that perisheth in his righteousness, and there is a wicked man that prolongeth his life in wickedness. And see, that's what they do. They're wicked. They're going to do something wicked to stay alive longer. That's why he didn't go over there and really try to fan the flames. They want wickedness. So this is into the lion's den questions the TikTok CEO will face from Congress today over a possible ban.
TikTok is owned by a Chinese company, ByteDance, and the big concern here is that users' data might be passed on to the Chinese government. TikTok takes masses of data from your phone, location data, apps you've downloaded, even biometric data. Here's the head of the FBI on what TikTok could do with that information.
Could they use TikTok to control data on millions of users? Yes.
There is a documented case of ByteDance employees spying on US journalists, and TikTok says they fired those employees. But others say there's simply not enough evidence that the platform is a security risk.
I've been trying for many, many years to find that smoking gun, because ultimately it would be the scoop of a lifetime, and I haven't been able to find it.
And that's why others believe that TikTok is actually not a security risk, and instead it's simply been caught in the middle of a diplomatic spat between China and the US.
So it might come, and more than likely will, and it's going to ultimately lead up to the famine of the word. And it's going to be a famine of the word and a famine of of bread too. It's going to be both. So it says, Amos chapter 8, verse 11, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, Yahawah, that will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst of water, but the hearing of the words of the Lord. And that's also going to be famine of thirst and water too, and bread too. Because, there's not going to be anyone to till the land. So there ain't going to be nobody bringing in no food. There ain't going to be no police coming when you call 911. There ain't going to be none of that. Okay, this place is going to get bad. So then you got right here, more of these celebrities are not getting away with whatever they want to do no more. Lindsay Lohan and Jake Paul hit with SEC charges over crypto scheme. And, Lindsay Lohan is one of these real famous people or whatever. And they getting in trouble. They're not getting away with everything. These are the curses coming upon these people. It's the curses coming across these people for always being wicked. But they don't understand that. Like it says, stars allegedly used their social platform to boost two crypto tokens without disclosing they were paid to promote them. And that's how they do. The ones that were charged is Soulja Boy, Austin Manhone, Kendra Lust, some Michelle Mason, some porn actress, Lil Yachty, Neo. See, even Neo. See, these people, Akon. See, these people is starting to run out of money. And now they getting in trouble. These wicked people. And this is what they do. Oh, not that. Yeah, Psalm 64, chapter 64, verse 5. They encourage themselves in an evil manner. They commune of laying snares privately. They say, who shall see them? And that's how they've been doing this whole time. They've been doing wicked stuff, and now they're actually starting to get sought out and found. Now, this is a kind of something that's been getting talked about a lot too. The whole thing with the Rainbow Committee and all this stuff says in Uganda they passed some real harsh laws concerning 1 second, I'm almost done. Slocky. I got just a few more. Yeah, we know this one. China says warship illegally entered the waters in the South China Sea. We already did that. But it says they passed a bill, basically. You see it. It says you get life in prison for even saying it over there.
This country will stand firm. And once it passes, I can tell you, Madam Speaker, we are going to reinforce the law enforcement officers to make sure that homosexuals have no space in Uganda.
You can't even saying that stuff. You can't even say it over there. You're gonna do life in prison. They ain't playing over there, but it's still unjust in the eyes of the Lord. Why? Because you're supposed to get put to death for this. Okay. So even though they think that this is still just, this is still unjust judgment. So violence hits Paris in day of protest over Macron's pension changes. This is more uproars going on. Police fired tear gas to repel violent black-clad anarchists in Paris on Thursday as hundreds and thousands of mainly peaceful protests marched across France. That's what's going on. And also, there was 2 held after mob rushes in Sydney, okay, concerning the Rainbow Committee. So it's a lot of uproars going on right now. Every day there's an uproar. Every day there are some people out there going crazy over something. So it says, therefore there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars in the people of the world. And also this, before I read this, this is what happened in OKC. It says, alarming, Metro School District swamped with hundreds of employee resignations throughout school year. It said Oklahoma City has received 329 resignations. As of March 6th. Moore has received 196. El Reno has received 3 employee resignations. Bethany has received 1. So basically, it's just showing that people are not believing in this system no more. They're like, this is not working out. It's not going to last. So like it said, 2nd Ezra chapter 9, verse 3, therefore when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars in the people of the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. For like as all that is made in the world hath the beginning and the end is manifest. So, when we just cut off right there, I wanted to just do a couple videos before I get into some studies today. And I'll be doing a lot of studying today. I want to take this day that I don't have to go to the plantation, and I still wanted to also do a video to edify the flock. So Lord willing, hoping this is edifying. want to give all praise to Barak, Yahawah, Barak, Yahawashi, Barak, Yahawah, Barak, Yahawashi. Got to give all praises to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Qadash. I'm going to give double honors to the elders and apostles, a great millstone, who led me to this truth, led us all to this truth. And we're going to give double honors to the elders and apostles, a great millstone. Call on Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Lord willing. We make it through the day, and I'm blessed to be able to exalt the name of Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi another day tomorrow. And y'all stay prayed up out there. And don't trust this nation. Don't trust these devils, man. Shalom.